Happy Friday, everybody. It's Dr. Bridget Young from babyformulaexpert.com here for a real Q&A happy hour. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Bridget Young. I'm a doctor of perinatal nutrition, a certified lactation counselor, and founder of babyformulaexpert.com. Today, I'm drinking one of my own homebrew beers. I don't really do that much stuff that I consider badass anymore, but home brewing is one of them, and I make awesome beer, and it is delicious. So I'm having that. The children are in bed. They are far from sleeping, but my husband is watching the monitor, and so I thought I would do something fun and a little different for happy hour today. I'm going to go through some questions I've received from real moms and give my answer. I'm doing this for a couple of reasons. One, if you are watching this and you have sent me a message about your very special, very precious baby, and I did not respond, I am so sorry. I get tons of questions, like long questions, like full feeding history and what should I do questions from email, Instagram, Facebook, and there is nowhere near enough time in the day to respond to all of them, and my heart is broken if you have trusted me with the precious details of your baby and I haven't responded. I am so sorry. So I am going to respond to like 3 or 4 beautiful mamas right now, and I'm hoping that hearing my response will help someone else who may be having the same exact question, which is unlikely, but more, I'm hoping that by me sharing how I think about these type of questions, it may help you think about these types of issues for your own baby. So let's get started. I'm going to pull them up on my screen over here, so I'm going to be making eye contact with no one, so just bear with me. Okay, so here is the first question I'm going to talk about today from Crystal. Hi, Crystal. Okay, it says, hello, my 8-month-old may have a dairy allergy. That stinks. I'm super sorry. They recommended Alimentum or Nutramigen, but both of those formulas are 50% corn syrup solids. Not thrilled about that at all. I hear ya. I hear that all the time. After reading almost everything on your website, thanks, girl, I looked around and found Gerber Good Start Gentle HMO. Corn maltodextrin was the 4th ingredient, and the protein is hydrolyzed. My question is, how hydrolyzed is this protein, and how do I find this out? Thank you for reading this. Well, Crystal, let me tell you. I'm going to wrap this up. If your baby truly has a dairy allergy, they cannot have Gerber Soothe or Gerber Gentle. So to answer your question, Gerber Gentle and Gerber Soothe are partially hydrolyzed. It is very hard to tell from the label whether something is fully hydrolyzed or partially hydrolyzed. Really, the only way that you know for sure is if it is fully hydrolyzed, it will also be labeled as hypoallergenic. The only 3 hypoallergenic formulas on the U.S. market are Nutramigen and Alimentum, which you mentioned in your email, and Gerber HA. The HA stands for hypoallergenic. So you mentioned here my 8-month-old might have a dairy allergy. That really stinks. It can be very difficult to diagnose a dairy allergy in babies. So a lot of times practitioners, including myself, will use a hypoallergenic formula either because we think it will help, or we want to be on the safe side, or for sure the kid has a dairy allergy. So you definitely need to be working with your pediatrician. If your pediatrician is not, if you're in that gray area, they might let you try Gerber Soothe, but it is not something you can just try on your own. You have to ask your doctor, because if your baby really does have a dairy allergy, the Gerber Soothe is not appropriate. It will trigger the allergy, most likely, which can be dangerous. So the other thing I want to say is I know it's very upsetting to you from your email that there's a lot of corn syrup solids in the hypoallergenic formulas. This is something that we just can't get around. In the U.S., all 3 hypoallergenic formulas, the hypoallergenic part is the protein. Carbohydrate is, a separate type of ingredient. All hypoallergenic formulas in the U.S. are lactose free, meaning there is no lactose at all. So it will either be corn syrup solids or sucrose or corn syrup, something besides lactose. So what I tell parents is if your baby really does need a hypoallergenic formula, I don't want you to worry about the carbohydrate. Like if they really need a hypoallergenic formula because they have a true allergy, or sometimes their little intestines are just kind of so messed up, for lack of a better word, like that's a terrible thing to say. They've been through so much, they have inflammation, etc., that they need a very, very tiny protein, like in a hypoallergenic formula. In those instances, The pro of having your baby on a protein that they can digest, which means they're going to absorb more of their nutrients, they're going to sleep better, they're going to be more comfortable. All of those pros far, in my opinion, outweigh the cons of not having lactose as the sugar. Like at the end of the day, we all just want a happy, healthy, growing baby. And so while it may be, you may feel uncomfortable having your baby on something that has a lot of corn syrup, if that allows your baby to be more comfortable and grow, and like I said, thus absorb more of their nutrients from their formula, like win-win. So if your baby really needs to be on it, just put it out of your mind and know that you are doing the best for your baby. The other thing I will mention is there is a European hypoallergenic formula called HIP. HIP is the brand, HA. Again, the HA stands for hypoallergenic, and it does have a significant amount of lactose. I believe it's mostly lactose. I'm going off memory. I think it's about 60% lactose, 40-ish% starch. They use starch instead of maltodextrin. So if your baby really has an allergy, that is an acceptable formula from an allergy standpoint. It is a European formula, so you must be sure your pediatrician is okay with you using it, because some pediatricians have pretty firm opinions about whether or not they want their patients on a European formula. So that might be a nice compromise for you, but you have to be sure your pediatrician is okay with it. And if they're not, rewind 30 seconds and re-listen to my speech about how you're doing the best thing, and I don't want you to worry about it anymore. I always say save your worries for the teenage years. Like, we'll all have plenty to deal with them. Okay, Crystal, I'm so glad I got to respond to at least one message today. Thank you for sharing your precious baby with me. Okay, the next message is from Lauren. What's up, Lauren? She says, thank you for creating such a wonderful resource. You are welcome. It is very weird for me to read compliments to myself. I'm a little uncomfortable. I am deciding between Gerber Good Start Gentle versus Plum Organics Gentle for my 6-week-old baby. Do you have a recommendation? What is more important as the first ingredients, higher whey or lactose? Lauren, let me tell you the difference between the two and tell you that I can't give you a perfect answer, because I get this all the time. Mamas, if you have emailed me, I cannot provide a personalized recommendation without knowing you. I mean, which is why I do work with clients individually. I just need to know so much more about your baby before I can give you a personalized recommendation. But I'm going to tell you the differences and tell you what you should think about, and that should help you make a decision. So your baby is 6-week-old and you're deciding between Gerber Good Start Gentle versus Plum Organics. So here's the difference. Plum is organic, which is pretty awesome. They are both partially hydrolyzed 100% whey, which means, so they have the same protein source, which is partially hydrolyzed. The carbohydrate, they also have a really, really similar fat blend, so that's almost identical. The big differences are in the carbohydrate. Gerber Gentle is 70% lactose, 30% maltodextrin. Plum Organics Gentle is 100% lactose. So I know a lot of people that initially sounds like, oh, decision made, 100% lactose is better. For a generic baby, maybe, yes. But it depends on your individual baby. So your baby is 6 weeks old, Lauren, which means they're past like super freshly newborn phase, but it depends on how well they have been digesting previously and what formula you are coming off of. So for example, if you are transitioning off of a formula like Similac Total Comfort, which is also partially hydrolyzed and 100% whey, so the same protein, but it has no lactose, less than 1%. If you jump from a formula that is lactose-free to a formula that is 100% lactose, and you do not transition extremely slowly, your baby will get diarrhea. It is just a fact of life. The body, just like people too, if you go dairy-free for a year and then you eat 3 pounds of cheese, you will get diarrhea. The body needs time to build up the enzyme that digests lactose, which is lactase. And if you don't need that enzyme, the body stops making a ton of it. So that happens all the time when babies transition from a formula that's no lactose to all the way lactose without a good transition period. So I want to know, what has your baby been drinking previously? Breast milk, what formula, etc. And then also, how digestively well has your baby been? So have you guys been really struggling with digestive issues? Have you perhaps been on a hypoallergenic formula and now you're trying a partially hydrolyzed? If any of those are the case, then I would probably suggest the Gerber Gentle, because a little bit the lactose reduction may be that gentler transition for your baby. If you've been exclusively breastfeeding and you're needing a little bit extra, or you're transitioning to formula, then the Plum Organics may be a better choice because your baby's been thriving on all lactose, which is what's in breast milk. I will throw out that the other difference is the Gerber has both a probiotic and a prebiotic, a human milk-based prebiotic in it. So if you are thinking about transitioning to formula 100% of the time, an exclusively formula fed, those are kind of benefits of the Gerber. You can also buy probiotics and add them at home. So the probiotic, prebiotic usually doesn't make or break my decision. I usually prioritize the macronutrients, the fat, protein, and carbohydrate is what makes the decision. So I hope those differences allow you to understand how they're different, but also how those differences may be relevant to your individual baby's biology and whoever else may be watching. And Lauren, congratulations on your baby, 6 weeks. That is such a cute, precious new time. You have a newborn baby. Okay. We are just cruising. Megan, I'm going to read a question from Megan. Megan says, thank you so much for your website with so many O's. You write emails like me, Megan. Both have been tremendously informative and entertaining. Well, that's a stretch. You need to get out a little more. On my quest for the perfect formula, love that you put perfect in quotes. I wanted to ask you your thoughts on mixing formula. If you like aspects from two different formulas, can you mix to create a symbiosis? Excellent use of the word symbiosis. I'll eventually wean my baby from partially hydrolyzed to a regular, and when I do, I'm particularly interested in mixing Pure Bliss and Leluca, which are the closest, this is funny, in parentheses, the closest thing I'll get to Munchkin infant's formula before my baby is driving, because it is still coming out soon. No kidding, girl. Munchkin, get your act together. I currently mix Plum Gentle with Hip HA and have found baby's poo to be more like breast milk than on Plum alone, but I worry that I may be experimenting too much. You are a girl after my own heart, Megan. My kids are like individual petri dishes. Okay, here are my thoughts. If you are currently mixing Hip HA with Plum Gentle, then obviously your baby had a little bit, you don't just end up on a hypoallergenic formula out of the blue. So you obviously had to deal with a little bit to begin with. I'm sorry about that. And so sounds to me like you are either mixing on purpose or in the transition from a hypoallergenic to partially hydrolyzed, which is great. Hypoallergenic are tiny, tiny proteins, partially hydrolyzed, intact. So it's nice to do kind of a stepwise approach. You did not tell me how old your baby was, so we'll just guess. So to answer your first question, you can absolutely mix formulas, 100%. The only thing you must do is use the scoop that came with your individual formula. They all kind of look the same size to the eye, but they actually can have minor differences in the size. And so the scoop is made for the particular formulation. And you don't want to mess with scoops, mix up scoops, because if you do, you could be shorting your baby calories or providing too many calories. If you lose your scoop, you can call the company, or if you aren't sure you might mix them up, call the company and they can send you a new one. It's really important. So be sure you keep the scoop with the individual formula if you are mixing. After that, feel free to mix. So in fact, I always recommend mixing when you're transitioning. So she is currently mixing Plum Gentle, which is a partially hydrolyzed, with Hip HA, which is a fully hydrolyzed. So what I would recommend is, and then you're hoping to be able to transition to either Pure Bliss or Leluca or a combination of the two. So I would recommend, before even trying either Pure Bliss or Leluca or any kind of blend, is to get to a point where you and your baby are comfortable on just the Plum Gentle, because Plum Gentle is partially hydrolyzed. So I wouldn't recommend, again, this is just my personal opinion, I wouldn't recommend you going ahead and trying an intact or full-size protein formula until you know your baby is handling at least the partially hydrolyzed size well. So you mentioned here that the baby's poo is much more like breast milk than when you're mixing the two. Formula-fed baby's poo can look a hella different shapes, sizes, colors. As long as the baby is going, quote unquote regularly, and they're not having pain while passing, I'm okay if it doesn't look like breast milk, because it's not breast milk. Like, we all know this. But if they're having trouble passing it and having a little bit of Hip HA in their helps, then that is definitely a sign to me that they're not ready to be 100% on the gentle and stick with that. So after you get onto the gentle and you're good with that, and so you'd like to try either Pure Bliss or Leluca, girl, if you want to mix them, mix them. They're actually relatively similar in that they're both grass-fed. The Leluca uses whole milk, so some of the fat comes from the grass-fed niceness of the cows, whereas Pure Bliss does not. Both are palm oil free. So honestly, you could just pick one or the other. I personally don't see that mixing them is going to provide you any symbiotic benefit of just having one over the other. Yeah, I'll leave it there. But if it floats your boat, if your mommy intuition tells you that this is the best combination for your baby, girl, go for it. Just be sure you use the scoop that goes with the formula, and be sure your baby is ready to transition to an intact protein in general. You're rocking it, Megan. Keep up the great work. I'm only going to do a couple of these because I'm going to go have a date with my husband. We're watching a movie alone. Can you believe it? Who do I think I am? I'm having a great time here by myself. Okay, the next question is from Jana or Jana. Sorry if I'm butchering your name. I'm from New York, so I'm going to say Jana. We got to use the most harshest pronunciation. Dear Dr. Young, very formal. Thank you so much. My daughter was breastfed until her 9 months. Girl, rock on. That's amazing. Now I'm searching for the right formula for her. Our pediatrician gave us Similac Pro Advanced, but I am really worried about the sugar level in baby formula. Would you recommend some European brand instead, HIP or Hala, or are they practically similar to Similac Pro Advanced? I'm worried she will gain weight more rapidly. Thank you very much for your help, Jana. Jana, once again, 9 months? You breastfed your baby for 9 months? Girl, that's amazing. That is a battle, and you are a warrior, and I salute you. Okay, to answer your question, Similac Pro Advanced is an awesome formula. I mean, it's a great, so if you, I'm assuming your baby has thrived on breast milk, and now at 9 months, she's definitely getting all kinds of solid foods. So I'm assuming that she has no indication of having any kind of food intolerance, in which case an intact protein formula is a great choice for her. And Similac Pro Advanced is a great choice. So Similac Pro Advanced it's a 50-50 weight to casein ratio, which is the protein. The carbohydrate is 100% lactose. All of Similac's formulas are palm oil free, which isn't even relevant to all babies, but it's nice. And it has the pro part, which is the human milk prebiotic. I'm going to level with all of you watching. If you have a 9-month-old baby, that prebiotic, it's nice, but it doesn't like blow me away for a baby that old, because they can get prebiotics from their food. They're past that newborn phase where that prebiotic may have a more potent effect, etc. So it's nice that it's there, but it doesn't make or break my decision. So honestly, if you're just starting off and that's what your pediatrician recommends, it's a great formula. I don't think I would recommend a European formula over that formula, because European formulas, you have to buy them from a supplier. Suppliers sometimes run out. Some pediatricians aren't as comfortable with them. You know, there's a lot of cons that go along with it. And if your baby can thrive on a great formula like Similac Pro Advanced, I say go for it. Follow your mommy intuition and your pediatrician's advice. But that's what I would say. Oh, the other thing is, she said, I'm worried about the sugar level in baby formulas. Lots of people are. I am too. Similac Pro Advanced, their standard Pro Advanced or just Advanced, are 100% lactose. Similac does have other formulas that use a lot of alternative sugars that are non-lactose based, but technically this one, Pro Advanced, it's all lactose based. It's just, it has no more sugar than breast milk has, because technically lactose is a sugar. So that part of your worry, you don't really need to be concerned about at all. And you're killing it, breastfeeding for 9 months, get a beautiful baby. You rock. Look how fast we're going. I feel so good right now that I'm responding to some people. Okay, oh, here's a really short one from Autumn. What European formula is closest to Gerber Soothe? Thank you so much. You are so welcome, Autumn. It is Hip Comfort. I'm sure there's other partially hydrolyzed formulas in Europe. There must be. This is the only one that you can get your hands on in the U.S. You can get it from Baby Kind Markets, Organic Start, or really, yeah, stick with those two, because it is a specialized formula, so some of the very, very small suppliers don't carry it. So Hip Comfort. It's very similar to Gerber Soothe. The protein is exactly the same, which is a partially hydrolyzed 100% whey protein source. Hip Comfort is also lactose reduced, closer to 60% lactose, 40% maltodextrin, and I believe starch. And the Hip Comfort does not use palm oil. Well, technically it uses a form of palm oil with beta palmitate. The punchline is it's palm oil without the downsides of palm oil. It's a very specially formulated palm oil that doesn't cause constipation. Okay, I'm going to just do one more question and then we're out of here. We're doing such, okay, this is a long one, which is why I saved it for last. So if you are still hanging with me, you're awesome. And I'm going to read it. This is not long for the questions I received, but it's just a long one I chose for tonight. Hi, Dr. Young. Hi, just from Karen. Hope all is well. I'm doing great, Karen. I hope you're well too. First of all, I love your channel. Thank you. I love you. Very informative, especially for new moms like me. Congratulations on being a new mom. I Google a lot, by the way. You and me both. I have a few questions for you, just to give you a little background. I'm a registered nurse that works in a very busy L&D unit. Oh, you're busy? You don't play cards? I shouldn't have. I have worked in a lot of L&D units, and you nurses rule the world, and we would all be dead without you. I honor all of you. I breastfed my baby Hannah for the first 3 months. That's amazing. With a few formula feedings here and there, but I would say 85% breast milk. So awesome. I thought this so cute. I was an enuffer in quotes, so my supply wasn't overabundant to have a freezer stash. We have all been there. It's a stressful place to be. Unfortunately, I had to go back to work, so I had to introduce formula. My hippie friend gave me hollow goat's milk formula. She sounds like me. All my friends call me their hippie friend. But my baby didn't tolerate it. What happens? So I switched her over to Similac Pro Advanced and Pro Sensitive. She had a wicked case of colic to the point where I'd never heard her cry so much. Oh, I'm so sorry. This is when she was about 3.5 months. Went to the pediatrician. She recommended a soy-based formula, and then I can switch to something else at 6 months since she'll be consuming solids. She's now 5 months. She'll be 6 months on the 1st, which is tomorrow. So close. Happy birthday, sweet girl. I still breastfeed here and there. How awesome. And, oh, but my supply is low since I don't get to pump as much at work due to the activity of the unit. No kidding. L&D nurses, again, you rule the world. She's been doing great on the Isomil, which is a soy-based formula. However, I do not like the idea of soy. My pediatrician knows this, LOL. Also, do not like the carb source, corn syrup solids, and table sugar. I mean, I'm okay with the corn syrup solids, prefer lactose. You clearly are a nurse because you know about the metabolic differences. Love that. But not the sugar. I'm afraid of soy. Actually, she says pyroestrogens, and it's actually phytoestrogens, and which autocorrects because that happens to me all the time. And all that jazz. You probably know what I mean. I do. So I have been doing a lot of research on the Enfamil and European formula, on the Enfamil, European formulas, and the U.S. formulas. I do not know what to do. I'm scared she'll have a reaction if I switch. Describing thoughts of reactions, and she may also be lactose intolerant. I've not changed my diet. What do you recommend? Partially hydrolyzed and intact. I am so nervous. I really do not want to keep her on the soy, but I'm conflicted because she does well. A little constipated at times. I really want to switch, but I'm nervous. Karen, I have so many thoughts to you. First, again, I want to applaud you for being such an amazing mom and breastfeeding while trying to work an insanely busy job and doing a ton of research. You totally rock, and your baby is very lucky to have you as a mom. Usually, so to answer your question, again, this is just my opinion. My motto is, if the baby is thriving, then you have found the perfect formula. So if your baby is thriving on soy, I don't think you should be nervous about anything. She's doing wonderfully. Soy is a perfectly safe formula. I completely understand your concerns. And to be honest, if it were my baby, I would be second guessing as well. However, she can absolutely stay on the soy formula and be wonderfully fine. And then if she's happy, great. Now, I know that's probably not going to satisfy you, so I'll give you a couple things you can think about. One, if you are going to try a bovine or a cow's milk-based formula, I would try a partially hydrolyzed. I don't really have research to back that up. Babies who end up on soy formulas clearly had a problem with, so you had a real bad issue with goat's milk formula. It's just kind of a gentler approach. The other thing is, all the soy formulas in the U.S. are lactose-free, as you're saying. So I don't think she's lactose intolerant. She's digesting your breast milk just fine. but she's not having to digest a lot of lactose. So if you throw, like, for example, Pro Advance, if you just throw that at her, she's not going to handle it well if you did it cold turkey because it's just way more lactose than she's used to. So another benefit of a partially hydrolyzed formula is most of them are lactose reduced to varying degrees, with the exception of Plum Gentle. So I would not recommend Plum Gentle for you. So that's something you consider. The other thing I'm going to go ahead and recommend is your baby is 6 months old tomorrow. So if you haven't started solids, you will be starting them soon. So honestly, what I would recommend doing is clear this with your pediatrician first, but I'm sure they'll be fine with it. Give the girl some yogurt and see what happens. So give her some intact cow's milk protein. So I recommend go get yourself some hippy-dippy expensive yogurt, whole milk, organic, grass-fed if possible. So it's going to be like $5 for a tiny little thing. And feed her some and see what happens. If she breaks out in a rash all over her face and cries, it did not go well. And stick with the soy. If she handles it no problem at all, then you can feel a little more comfortable trying a cow's milk-based formula. And if you want to do that, I would just remember that no matter what formula you choose, even if it's partially hydrolyzed, going from soy to cow's milk are very, very different proteins. So you would want to try the formula and go through any transition very slowly. So at 6 months, if she's taking like a 6-ounce bottle, I would have your first introduction be 1 ounce of whatever new formula you want with 5 ounces of the soy and see how she does. So that's what I would recommend. You can give yourself a little bit of peace of mind by trying a little bit of the protein first in the form of yogurt. I like yogurt. It's just much easier. I mean, you could do cheese, but yogurt's got a little bit of usually more lactose in it than the cheese has, and so it's a little bit of a better test as a comparison for formula. So that's what I would recommend. Again, clear it with your doctor first. But that'll give you some peace of mind. And then, no matter how it goes, if it goes great, then you feel good trying more of the formula. If it goes terribly, then you know that soy is absolutely the best choice for her. Oh, this is how I say. And if soy is absolutely the best choice for her, you have a couple of options of soy. So you're on Isomil, which I believe is Similac. Enfamil and Gerber also make a soy formula. Neither of them use sucrose. They are lactose-free, but they use both Enfamil and Gerber use glucose-based sugars, so maltodextrin or corn syrup solids. You also have the option of Earth's Best makes a soy formula that is organic, and everything that is organic is also non-GMO. So that gives you a little bit more peace of mind if you can afford the price tag that you, and I think theirs uses sucrose though, but so you get to choose. If you want to stay on the soy, you have a couple options. You could transition to an organic version, or you could transition to a version without sucrose. And I imagine she would transition in either of those directions very, very easily because the protein is the same, and the protein is usually the hard thing that babies have a difficult time when transitioning. Okay. If you guys liked this kind of format, if that was helpful for you at all, tell me in the comments or send me a message if this is like whoosh, way over your head and completely non-applicable to you because it's someone else's baby. Tell me that too, because I won't waste all of our time doing more. So if you are still watching, I've had some comments come in and I'm going to try to answer those now. And everybody else, if you want to go, you can absolutely. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me. You guys totally rock. And let me see. So now I'm going to do some, this is from Instagram. Do you have a recommendation of Plum Organics versus Gerber Good Start for supplementing? Also considering HIP. Have a history of autoimmune disease in our family. I'm going to have you just rewind or watch this. And I talked about this exact thing in the very first question. So if you're supplementing, so you've been mostly breastfeeding, both are absolutely great choices. The Plum Organics or the Gerber Gentle. I think those HIP standard is not a partially hydrolyzed. So I would say with a history of autoimmune disease, if you haven't used formula in the past and your baby is still in the newborn phase, like 0 to 3 months, I would go with the Plum Organics or the Gerber Gentle. And then I would choose, depending on how old your baby is and how well they've been digesting until now, that would make my decision based on whether I think they need full lactose or a little bit of a lactose reduction, which would be the Gerber. Okay, some of these, oh, guys, some of the Facebook comments come in and then if new ones come in, I can't see them. So Ashton, I can see yours. I will read that. If you end up taking any questions from here, I have this one that potentially is an easy question. My son was diagnosed with CMPA, cow's milk protein allergy, at a young age. Sorry, girl, that sucks. Nutramigen has been wonderful for him. It is life-saving for babies that need it, despite the nasty smell. And works great. Now he's 8 months old. I tried a few dairy products in small amounts in the form of solids, and he's tolerated it well. That's amazing. That's such great news. I think he's grown out of his allergy. Very likely, lots of babies do. What's the best way to transition off a fully hydrolyzed formula to a partially hydrolyzed formula? Or should I just keep him on Nutramigen since it's working well? That is totally up to you. He can absolutely stay on Nutramigen. I know a lot of families who get really scarred from horrible experiences with cow's milk protein allergy, like bloody diarrhea, really scary stuff when their baby's a newborn, and they're like, I'm not rocking the boat. And I say, more power to you. You stick with what's working. If you want to transition, first, you need to clear it with your doctor. Your doctor has to be okay with it because sometimes when babies are outgrowing an allergy and say you fed him yogurt and it went great, that's awesome. But at, I don't know, how old was he? Did you say? Oh, 8 months. At 8 months, he's still drinking a lot more formula than he's eating a small dish of yogurt. So it's just a much bigger exposure. So it definitely can happen that a baby tolerates a little yogurt and then parents try to transition and everything falls apart. I'm not saying that'll happen to you, but it's possible. So you need to be conservative. If your doctor is okay trying a partially hydrolyzed formula, great. I would say get one. Pick one that's lactose reduced because Nutramigen is lactose free. So jumping to 100% lactose is going to be a real challenge for him. So pick one and start like a little bit at a time. I mean, like in one of his bottles on one day, put in 1 ounce of partially hydrolyzed. He's probably taking a 6 ounce bottle, 5 ounces of Nutramigen. That's it for the whole day. See how he does. If he does okay, no rash, no sneezing, no wheezing, no bloody diarrhea, or just blood in the stool, like no signs. Okay, great. The next day, do 1 ounce in all of his bottles, just 1 ounce. See how it goes. The next day, maybe you can do 2 ounces in all of his bottles. So, and the next day, maybe keep it at 2 ounces. When you're coming off of a fully hydrolyzed formula, I recommend going real slow. You really can't be too conservative with these kids because if they ended up on a fully hydrolyzed formula, they had a rough time and we just want to baby them. I didn't even plan that. I hope that's helpful. Leandra. Hi, Leandra. We are an American military family stationed in Canada. God bless you for your service. Thank you for protecting our freedom. And expecting baby number 2 in July. We plan to formula feed from day 1. And oh no, I started reading this, but it got cut off. Leandra, I'm so sorry. Your comments will be up there. Thank you so much for your service. Congratulations on your baby. And send me the rest of your question. I'll get to it. Okay. I got one more from Katie. And I see more comments coming in, but I have a date with my husband, so I will get to them in the comments because I can't skip my date with my husband. So Katie Verneau, I am dreading pumping tonight. Oh, this is a cute one. Thanks for making this hour awesome. Katie, what a nice thing to say. That is so nice. I breastfed one of my kids until he was over 2, but I stopped pumping as soon as that kid turns 1. Pumping is the pit. It is the worst. I dreaded it too. I want to take my hat off to you for pumping for your baby. That is such a wonderful thing that you do for that sweet little one. Okay, everybody. I got to wrap this up. I have so many questions here. So I will type out responses. Give me like 48 hours because I do nothing quickly. And I'm guessing you guys liked this. This was very impressive. Oh, I'm pumping and watching too. That's like the best compliment anybody could ever give me. I'm so glad. I'm so glad I could be there with the noise going on. Cheers. Okay, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. Maybe I'll do this again because again I get so many questions. It makes me feel really, really good that I can respond to at least a few. For those of you that I responded to, if you didn't watch this, I will send you the link to this video so that you can see the answer to your question. Have a wonderful, wonderful wonderful weekend. I will see you guys next week for happy hour, and I'll talk to you then. Bye. Oh, and bye again.